Let's take you back to West Africa. Since an armed conflict shook the southern region of Senegal in the late 1990s, the area has sustained economic hardship. Mel Bailey takes a closer look to how the region is recovering.
In Casamance, the sub-region of Senegal, locals and activists are urging refugees to come back and start rebuilding after over 70% of the population fled some 30 years ago due to a rebel uprising caused by opposing views on regional succession from the country. Since then, the economic development of the region has halted. Musa Daidu, native of the village Mungalan, fled and was displaced for 10 years.
I want to ask everyone from the community to come back to where they were. If no one comes back, it won't be Casamance anymore. But if people come back to where they were before, to start working and try to forget what happened, it can be Casamance again. Each year, if you come back to what was left aflame and start to build again, that will be Casamance. I want to tell everyone who comes from the region to come back and work, come back and rebuild our home.
Political activists and nonprofit organizations estimate that today nearly 80% of families who could have returned to their native villages. But vendor Malik Ngam says economically, Casamance is very far off from where it once was.
Before, when you sold a product, there were so many people to sell to, but now the clientele is gone. They've all fled. The other difference is that us, the people of the village, weren't afraid to go into the forest to get what we used to sell, banana leaves, fruit, etc. But now, because of the conflict, people are still wary about going into the forest to get anything. It's impacting the local economy.
The Association for Rural Promotion for the District of Niassia has been active in peace talks and refugee placement for over 15 years. They have discovered that financial partners like citizens want to come back to the region, and they are working to reassure everyone that soon Casamance will again be a peaceful region.
We are advocating for the stability of the region so the financial partners come back to Casamance. There is the want, the desire to turn one's back on the crisis, on everything that has happened.
Approximately 78 villages have completely disappeared from the map of Senegal. At least 150,000 people have lost everything, but rebuilding and demining throughout the region persists, and the population is hopeful that soon, with partners like APRAN, Casamance will once again flourish.
Well, now Mel Bailey is back in the U.S. for a few days and joins me to tell us more about reporting from Senegal. Mel, welcome to Africa 54.
Hi, Vincent. Thank you.
Great to be here. A nice piece there on Casamance. For some who may have forgotten about that conflict or maybe don't know about it, how can you quickly describe that to them? What was it all about?
Okay, well, it all started when the MDFC, or the Movement of Democratic Forces in Casamance, decided that they had just had enough because the region of Casamance is so different from the rest of Senegal. Religiously and culturally speaking, they just wanted succession from the country. And so they got together and decided to start taking what was theirs. And a lot of people were killed and a lot of people fled.
That's so sad. Now, you've been telling stories from Senegal. Can you describe for me how the environment is in terms of, you know, the kind of stories you can get out of that country?
It's just so rich culturally with languages and just the people that you can meet in the markets, everything. So it's definitely not been difficult finding any stories to tell, let me tell you that much. But like any other country, there are some problems. I mean, I recently did a story about the youth unemployment, so that's an issue. But overall, they're just trying to get self-sustainable living for imports and everything else. So they're doing well.
And very quickly, although there was that conflict in Casamance, but Senegal is fairly a stable country in that region.
Yes, it's a democratic society. They've elected several presidents, and right now President Macky Sall is doing everything that he can to keep the region stable.
You want to continue staying there?
Yes, I do.
Reporting from there?
Yes, I do.
Mel, we look forward to so many of your fantastic reports.
Thank you very
from
much.
There. Well, Mel Bailey is Africa 54's Senegal-based reporter. Thank you.